So, yeah, I mean, killing a priest is considered in bad taste, but if you're a noble, you can probably get away with it. If you're a corporate, you can probably get away with it. Priests are both above and below in that they don't have any, like, they don't have the same earthly rights as, like, a noble because they're not nobles necessarily. Now, what it gets dangerous when you have a noble member of the church, because nobility is a way to gain corporeal power above your status. So like a member of one of the houses minor who joins the church and rises in the church can rise above their house, right? A highly ranking exarch is untechnically more important than a like medium ranked member of the houses minor. It's super confusing, and it's supposed to be. The church is a way to cheat, but also it's more dangerous for them. Like low-ranking exarchs can't just do whatever they want. So it's this corporeal power versus the spiritual power, this intersection of belief and action. And remember that it's not about what the church believes. Remember, they don't get magic powers. This isn't like D&D. The church has no special power, but they do have legal power, right? And when we refer to the church, I mean the high church. Your ability to be a part of the other church, the Church of Humanity Repentant, they're not like a real church. When we talk about the church, we mean like the Church of the Empire. How do you become a noble? You're born into it. You literally have to have noble parents. Or if you're really lucky, you can marry a noble who is willing to take that hit for some other power. So you could theoretically be born a member of Acre, rise to a director status, use your money and influence to worm your way into one of the houses, minor or major, and then marry into it, in which case you have to give up your directorship and become a noble. Also, nobles can't hold directorships in Acre. They have to give up their nobility. So you can move down. There's a ritual where you're stripped of your garb and you become part of the proletariat, essentially. You become part of the lumpen plebs, and that's a thing. There are a couple of other ways to like move around. You can be adopted into a house. Some of the houses have their own specific stuff that they can do to like bring you in. But remember, bringing a non-noble into your house weakens your house. All of the other houses, like I know Aquila and Triangulum have ways to uplift skilled individuals. It makes you look bad when you do it. Every time you do that is like a little check mark against you socially. Because I don't care, I being like the status quo, I don't care how skilled you are. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how cool you think you are. If you are not born into a noble house, you're not really a noble. Like, yes, legally, I have to call you lord or lady. I have to call you by your chosen title. I have to give you the respect that is due of you, but I will sneer at you, and I will roll my eyes, and I will talk shit about how you're not a real noble, and God knows I will not let you marry any of my children. Unless I'm, like, a little bit more open about it, and, like, maybe that's okay. But, like, no. I think in terms of, like, yeah, in terms of moving in the hierarchy, because we got to focus on that. Moving in the hierarchy is what matters here, because all I'm thinking about is in terms of like, how do we apply the law vis-a-vis imbalance of justice? Okay, so that's one of the themes and concepts of the universe. Another theme and concept kind of the universe is background intrigue, right? So the idea here is like trust, loyalty, duty, etc., right? The idea of like all of these things happening in the background, and like to whom do we owe our loyalty? To whom do we focus? In what order do we apply these things? Duty to our houses, duty to ourselves, trust in our orders. I don't think, like, it's not about honor necessarily, right? Because honor, we've talked about this before in terms of like, I mean, just generally, but I think that like honor is such a loose cultural thing that I don't want to apply it here, because everybody's gonna have their own idea of it. And then also like personal versus external. right? This is where like goals, mechanically, personal goals versus what you were expected or told to do. Okay, so that's a theme, right? Background intrigue, this idea of like trust, loyalty, and duty. That's all happening in the background, and then needle focus in the game. And then I guess sort of like real or unreal. The real versus the unreal, right? Like in terms of law, right? Letter versus spirit. What is true justice versus what is the letter of the law? I think this is a thing that has to happen when we talk about games built around legality, right? Like, if the law says one thing, but your heart says another, and you believe the law to mean a third, right? What is real? Given authority versus earned authority. Privilege and the wielding... I before E? Yeah. Thereof, right? Because 3 of the 4 players are near the top of the totem pole. 1 of the players is several steps down the totem pole. So we're going to have to work out, like, how do we wield our privilege? What does that look like? And then ultimately, like, human versus non-human. And we're going to get into this in a different way than we will... than we would have in Swansong, right? Like, what does it mean? What does it mean to be a human, but not like, what does it mean to think? Not in the Cartesian, I think, therefore I am, but like the authority we give ourselves to create. This whole God versus man, this like, I made you, I am allowed to unmake you. Like what, the synth question, right? We get to decide what is human, but is that right? Or not, right? Yeah, morality versus the law. This is the question of like, yeah, where legality intersects with truth, capital T, right? Lacanian realness. Without getting too fucking like deeply Baudrillardian, we're looking at like the real versus the unreal in that sense. The synthetic, the simulation and the simulacra, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but it's certainly a thing. Yeah, so there you go. This sort of deep philosophy of when we make something, our authority thereof, and like the child versus the creation is a beautiful statue. If Michelangelo's David could move and think and talk and want and understand itself, is it any different than a babe of human born, right? So that's kind of our question. So these are the things that I'm sort of bringing to the table as themes and concepts of the game. Like what is the game going to be about on like a high grade level? This is kind of some of my thematic concepts, right? How they correlate to the action, etc. We're talking a little bit about my important pilot episode stuff, and I have to kind of like communicate some of this. So now when I get into like episode 1 prep, we want to express a theme from the themes and concepts, right? So this is the tell, right? This is the like, I could just tell you about the hierarchy. You're turning in for the tell. I want to show, using one of these things from the list, I want to show this stuff. So I want to put the players in a position where they have to come face to face with a theme or concept from the show by way of one of these missions, right? So you're seeing how this is sort of slowly leading into literal prep for the first episode, but also like general prep for future episodes, because a lot of this stuff is going to pull in and get placed into the game as concept at the table, things that the players can actually act on. So yeah, I think I want to cut this. I want to make, hold on. I'm going to make a new document for setting material. And we'll just call it the Great Chain of Being. Sorry, you can't see this. It's just because when I go back and forth, it shows my whole drive like docs list. And I don't know. It's not for you. It's my folders. Give me one quick second to cut this. And yeah, I'll share as much of this stuff. Okay, great chain of being. Okay, you bet it's porn. I mean, it depends on what you think of as pornography. Okay, so I've set up the great chain. I can bring you all back. Okay, yeah, so there you go. So these are some themes about the game, themes and concepts. And in episode 1, I got to express the themes and concept from the section by way of one of these situations we put the PCs in. So I'm going to have to try to pick, like, what is the most this game theme that I want to express, and what is the clearest way that I can do that? How can we make that happen? And that's my immediate goals, right? Like, what is the thing? So let's talk about episode 1, the mission, right? Like, where are they? Why are they there? We need to answer that shit. So where, I guess why is the first thing, right? Like, what's going on? Why is it happening? Who is it about? Where is it set? Right? When is now? When is just, it's now. So we need to figure this crap out. So I'm thinking we go simple, right? So this is just simply like looking for a synth, and this isn't an investigation. This is just straight up like, I think now I'm gonna come back to this because I want to talk a little bit more about some of the other secondary goals. We don't have to do all of this in order, but this shit is important. So yeah, they're going to be going to retire a fugitive. They're going to go find a synth, and they're going to kill him. And then we're going to obviously make it more complicated than that by way of some of the other stuff. Because if it's just like, go to the tavern, get the quest from the innkeeper, go to the first basement, kill 10 rats, we're not going to get much of the theme, right? Instead, we're going to say, go to the planetoid, kill the synth, but like there's more to it than that. And it's going to be like, is it really a synth? Because obviously the first thing that a synth is going to say is like, I'm not a synth. Like, someone set me up. There's going to be other people trying to manipulate the PCs into killing people that they shouldn't. I want them to have to ask, like, God, is this the right thing to do? Are we retiring this person for the right reason? Now, what's interesting is that's what sets us apart. Let's get into Dogs in the Vineyard here. That's what sets us apart from Dogs, because in Dogs in the Vineyard, if you're not familiar with it, it's a fucking amazing game. Vincent Baker, probably my second favorite Vincent Baker game after Apocalypse World. In Dogs in the Vineyard, you play religiously mandated paladins that wander around in the Wild West solving problems, which is really just like rooting out incorrect religious behavior and executing against it. And sometimes that just means shooting people. Sometimes it means kissing babies and doing rituals, but it's a whole thing. But what differentiates this game's premise from Dogs in the Vineyard is that no one in Dogs in the Vineyard ever says, oh, hold on, you're not allowed to do that. That's 100% the premise of Dogs in the Vineyard, is you do not have to ask permission. I don't want that authority. I don't want that authority for my players. I want my players to have to do the right thing. I want them to place legal and personal ethics apart. So what might be the law might not feel right, or what feels right might be illegal, or whatever, right? Like, I want them to be stuck in between the two, because that's where the drama comes from. So Dogs in the Vineyard gives us a bunch of tools for like building towns. If you watched my Dogs in the Vineyard prep, which you should definitely check out, even if you don't watch the episode, it was a great episode. We did a one shot of it. You can see how that game gives us framework tools. I don't have those. So instead, I have to think about complications, right? So my kind of mantra, my goal here is straightforward goal plus complications, right? Of course we have to do this. Wait, it's more complicated than we thought. this is what makes the meat of every good kind of game where you have a clear mission. This is the we have to kill Darth Vader. Oh shit, he's my dad. This is the Mr. Johnson gave us a mission. Oh no, he betrayed us, right? I want them to clearly understand what their mandate is, and then I want the inverse or something else to be there to complicate it. And so we'll start off fairly simple, like straightforward goal, one complication. But as we get later and later, obviously it'll get more and more complicated. So what does the game give us? What does the game give us for those things, right? Like what tools do we have? And I can tell you, let me pop a new tab open here. What I can tell you is that every planet has some tools built into it that will let us know what kinds of things we can do. So let's see. For example, right? If we were to say, we're going to planet Tootham, a night world of psionic sphere. We have enemies, we have friends, we have complications, we have things, we have places. So these, ultimately, these are for a GM to be allowed to sandbox this stuff. These are sandbox tools. So sandbox tools are here so that if the players are like, fuck this, we're going to 0303, I can say, okay, cool. You have a friend here, a hard-pressed colony leader needs you to do something for them, or a high priest of the sect of the Holy Knight. Like these are allowing me to jump in and kind of make stuff up as I go. Now, I don't need to worry too much about these initially because I have this other premise that I want to adhere to, which is that we're starting off fairly structured, right? I'm going to tell them where they are. I'm going to tell them what they need to do. And I'm going to come up with the complications personally. I'm not going to personally like look for these things in the game. Now I will later, absolutely. But for now, I want to have nice tight control over my pilot episode. So we're going to do that. We're going to come up with a straightforward goal. We're going to come up with complications. So I think, we've talked a little bit, and this was just me covering the additional stuff, right? In what ways are we using Stars Without Number as designed? I think the more specifically I try to guide play, the harder I'm going to end up fighting the game. But I think I want to try to treat, at least initially, I want to try to treat the universe as like an ethical sandbox, if that makes any sense. Like, I know this is getting like really kind of like high concept, but the idea here is Swan Song, you could go anywhere, but they were the bottom of the hierarchy of, not the bottom, but very low on the hierarchy of power, right? Like if we look, the crew of the Swan Song, I think, depending on who you ask, fit into the hierarchy very, very low, right? They're pirates. They're outlaws. Anybody could do anything bad to them and no one would care, right? This is not true. They have lots more responsibility, and there are lots of people who will be like, no, you are doing a bad thing, but also a lot of people who will try to motivate them. We're moving away from the Firefly style. Yeah, they were a vagrant crew. At least Higgs certainly was. So that's the thing. So we're looking at this more as like a social or ethical or moral sandbox, in the sense that, yes, we'll place them in the world, and then it's going to be up to them to determine how adherent to the structures of that world they would like to be. They may move down the hierarchy as we go. I mean, that's the trick. Wherever you start, if you start at the top, you can't stand there. So we'll see. We're going to struggle. The more I try to constrain them, the less choice I give them. And I think that the key point here is like origin of authority, right? And where do those missions come from? So like choosing what they get to do and what can they say no to. So let's talk about the origins of their authority. So their mandate comes from House Crux, who is also they themselves are, I guess plural, are they themselves mandated by the Church and Empire as a whole to uphold and, I guess, uphold the law. The laws of empire. So this is their sacred, they're both their sacred and literal duty. And that mandate comes to the players. So let's do another quick like sub hierarchy, right? So like we have like the houses of the empire and the church. They pass on that mandate down through the great chain to House Crux, who passes it down to some kind of like larger legal count. Like the House Crux has an internal body for managing these like assets. So House Crux, internal body that manages the kind of asset that the PCs are. And then from there, that internal body passes on missions, mandates to the captain of the ship, right? So the ship's captain, who then mandates his team or her team. It's gonna be a lady. Her team. Okay, so this is the structure, and then someone, I guess, by way of, I've been assuming it's Max's character, but it might not be. But basically, they get their orders. They get their orders from the captain, who gets her orders from the House Crux internal body that manages the kind of assets that the PCs are. I'm gonna have to look into House Crux like lore and see if I can find something good there. That internal body is reported to the larger organization of House Crux, who is they themselves a part of the houses of the empire and are responsible. So ultimately, this goes backwards, right? If the team fucks up, the captain is going to get mad at them because the captain's internal body is going to give them shit, because the house gives them shit, because the empire at large gives them shit. Hopefully their fuck-ups never get that high, because that's how you get excommunicated. But if it's like treason, this is the hierarchy that gets fucked up as a result. Which means when the PCs get missions, they get them from their captain. The ship is in the sector because it was guided there by the internal body. Right. So the captain is in charge of the ship. The captain doesn't get shit done, right? I don't want to take that away from the players. The captain's job is moving the ship around and ultimately making decisions, but the players have authority. The ship is like in the sector, like moving around, like it exists. The ship is where it is, right? I want to give the players the ability to solve problems. I don't want the captain to tell them how to solve the problem. The captain just gives them the mission. The captain says what and where and occasionally who, but never how, right? That's the PCs decide how. So that's kind of what I'm thinking as a GM, and like how I want to structure the way this works. Yeah, we're world building a bunch of red tape, but that's how it works, right? Like they operate within a legal hierarchy. They're part of the house that's responsible for the law. Nobody gets to say why, right? Ultimately, the why is outside our scope, right? And it's what creates tension of the game. Is the why morally acceptable to the PCs? Is there a why? Right? This is the like, you're off your case, you stupid chief. This is the McGarnagle, right? The like, I do what's right because I'm told to. The tension of the game is that we don't get to ask. We don't get to know why, right? Why is because the fucking empire said so. Cops don't, they're not supposed to ask why. So if you start asking why, that means there's something wrong. probably with you. So keep your whys to yourself. You say, how high when I say jump. You don't say, why do I jump? So that's ultimately, this is the campaign, right? This is the game right here. I want to highlight this. This is the game. This is the whole crux of it, is that it's not about the doing. It's about why do we do the doing. So I guess I can unhighlight this because I've got a comment on it now. No, unhighlight, get rid of it. There we go. So that's the jam, right? And yes, that's the crux of it. But this is the campaign, right? Is like we're mandated to do these things because they are what is right, and instead we may ask, why do we do these things? What is the purpose? To what end? Right? Why do these things happen? So this is the thing. We want to ask, I guess we can just reduce it. Why? Because it was illegal. Because the law, fuckers. That is always true, at least initially, right? So we need to come up with like what is the mission, right? It's like what is it that we want the players to do, and what of these themes is it going to so I think the real easy thing here is the what is we're on a relatively unimportant world, moon, mine, whatever. And we're here because the Registry of Synthetic Illegals, I guess illegal synthetics is how we've been, says that there is a synthetic hiding out and they need to be retired. It needs to be retired. No, there are no legal synths. We call them illegal synthetics to remind everyone they are illegal. They're illegal. They're illegal. Illegal, illegal, illegal. We call them that because they are, it's like illegal aliens, right? Like we call them that to remind you that the current power structure says they should not exist. Yeah, robots are robots, synthetics are synthetics. Synthetics refer to, they're called synthetics, they're called artificials. The branding is that we never call them humans. They're not synthetic humans, they are simply synthetics. And we always say that they are illegal because we need to remind people they're not real, right? They have no rights. Okay. So that's the jam. So let's say they go to a planet and we're here because there is a synthetic that needs to be retired. Easy peasy, right? Sources on the place have said that this illegal synthetic is here, right? Okay. So who is involved? Local nobility, right? Someone owns this place and is maybe responsible, maybe helpful, probably at least pretending to help. What else we got for who? We have the illegal synthetic and its misbegotten friends, allies, dupes, right? People who've been suckered. Okay. I think that's pretty much, and then like miscellaneous locals. So the where here is like what is the place? We need to pick an actual planet. So I'm thinking it's somewhere like it's not like a home world, right? It's not like one of the It's not one of the planets where the like a noble house like lives necessarily. And I don't want it to be too fucking far away. So let me see. Let me see what I can find. Tootham, I think. Echo is where the maybe Echo, because that's close, but not so. I think like a moon might work too, right? Maybe one of the moons of Echo. Yeah, maybe one of the moons of Echo. Let's look at these moons. We don't have like any data for any of these. Yeah, okay, one of the moons of Echo. So let's look at the, hang on. The forest moon of Echo. Yep. It's a harvest moon, you know, where they harvest food and stuff. So let me look at the Far Verona wiki. Pop over to the wiki. Let's see if we have anything about the moons of Echo that I can incorporate. Otherwise, I will make up some stuff. Echo. I know you can't see what I'm doing. I'm looking at our wiki. Cities, second base cities, caste system, interview, crime. Okay, all right. So there's some moon bases, but cool. All right. So let's set it on Mumeri, because there's nothing on Mumeri yet. So I'm gonna set it there. So let's pop back. Okay, so Mumeri, I'm gonna put some details in. So Mumeri is a so-called harvest moon with farms, mines, and other supporting industries. A serfdom with multiple noble houses in place. Something of a backwater for the empire. Mostly exports material as part of a trade deal with Echo. So this is like a moon that feeds Echo. It's one of Mumeri. It's a big place that they grow like food and stuff for planet Echo. Okay, so that's good. So it's set on Mumeri, which is on, what do we say here? Save that. This is 0202. So this is Echo 0202. Get back around. Okay, Mumeri, a moon of Echo 0202. Perfect. Okay, more specifically, so let's see. It's like a moon, a harvest moon with a ton of farms and infrastructure for feeding the population of Echo. Technically noble owned, imperial owned, because nobles don't own anything. Imperially owned, run using acre assets, right? Farm gear, employees, and leased, or like, and part of a trade deal with Prism to feed their world. Yeah, like hydroponic and like all kinds of stuff. I think this is like an Earth-like, it's like an Earth-like moon. A slightly harsh Earth-like environment. Breathable atmosphere. Breathable atmo. Decent humidity, etc. Nitrogen-rich environment. It's like, yeah, like a little like, yeah. So, but it's slightly harsh, right? So lots of like wind and rain. I'm thinking like all kind of gray and white, like steel kind of palette. Yeah, standard Earth gravity. I think this is like a pre-Scream terraforming project that was 98% or like 95% completed. Right? It was originally going to be like a colony or something like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's the thing. So this is where we're setting it. We're setting on Mumeri, one of the moons of Echo. And that probably means that it is fully propagandized by Prism activity, right? It's close to home. People are brand loyal and bought in to whatever Prism tells them. Okay, so this is our where. I'm going to move all this stuff down because these are goals for later. So they're going to Mumeri because something has been flagged, right? Like illegal. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to call it the mission. I'm going to give this information to probably Max to like inform the players like what their mission is. So this is reports have placed an illegal synthetic synth registry. Okay, someone will have to like work out exactly. Maybe someone in Crux wants to do this. Synth registry number, right? This is a number that you're going to be able to you'll have to tell them, you are illegal synthetic synth registry number 665-2A1, right? Like a way to say like, yo, we got you. We have footage that you are here. So like 665A22X or something like that. Like a way to like register them that will indicate like maybe how old they are or whatever. That's right. 8675309. See, I was thinking more like 655321, TK421, right? Their model, their production year, something but it basically just says like their information about them. So I'll update this eventually with more like detailed stuff. But basically 6658-22X, you are illegal. We have a registry of them, so we know which one you are. Place an illegal synthetic on Mumeri, a moon of Echo. We do not know why they are there or what false identities they operate under, but we have detailed surveillance footage placing them at a market on Mumeri in the last, I don't know, you would arrive in last like week. Find 665A 22X and retire them. And retire it. Always it. Never them. We don't gender synths. Gender is a human right. So there is an illegal synthetic here. The legal synthetic has like friends and allies because they don't know that it's a synth, right? Are there the synth is better. Like one-on-one, the synth could kill any number of them. I mean, they all have 1 hit point, so like a house cat probably could, but yeah. Okay, so we don't want to get too complicated. We're gonna make the synth probably like let's look at the who. Let's look at the who, right? So our first character. So I didn't realize this. Here's some interesting Blade Runner mythology for you. I didn't realize until I watched the terrible version of Blade Runner with the voiceover that skin job is a racial slur in that universe about on the level of the N-word. So like learning that, I've been like disinclined to even say it because it's connected to that. Like there's a space in the beginning of Blade Runner where he says that. Deckard says of the boss, he's like, he was the kind of cop that would have used this word back when people still use that word. So it just to reinforce that skin job is like a really nasty thing. It's a little, I don't want to over Blade Runner the game, but yeah, it's a thing. It's a nasty word, and yes, you could call them that, I guess, if you wanted to. There's lots of nasty things you can call them, but technically they are illegal synthetics. So this is illegal synthetic 66A 22X 22X. Where did I put this? Illegal synthetic 665A 22X. We need to give them a human name, something they operate under, like a real like plain name. But like some a little sci-fi sounding, right? No, it's not gonna be Randy. Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Dexter's a good one. Yeah, Dex. Dexter Chow. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is Dexter Chow, someone they were pretending to be. Yeah, okay. So this is former, let's see, what did this synthetic used to do? I think they used to just be like a farm worker. I think they used to just be like, yeah. So originally designed to operate farm equipment, came to Mumeri to attempt to blend in as a human, currently working on a farm. What kind of things should they farm? Fungus? Mycoprotein. I like that. Yeah. And it sounds all sci-fi and shit. Okay, currently working on a microprotein farm as a harvester engineer. Right, working on machines. Okay. So that's what illegal synthetics 665A-22X. And then they probably have some like friends and allies. So that means some other people. We want to have like someone who knows they're a synth, someone who defends, who thinks they're human, who is sure they are human. Romantic, like Dex's boyfriend, like a lover. Yeah, right. Someone who's sure they're human, someone who knows they're a synth, and wants to snitch. Someone who knows they're a synth and wants to protect them, right? Okay. And then like the noble who owns the farm in question. Okay, great. So that's local nobility. And then also I want to put a noble who knows that the above mentioned noble knowingly employs synths. Right? So this is somebody who's like, yo, get that guy. I'm sure this synth works on his farm. Get him. Right? So that's the jam, right? And someone who wants to use this synth to take this guy out. Does he know? Does he not? I don't know. We don't need to cover all of this stuff. Like, we don't have to do all of that initially. We just need to have a fairly straightforward thing. Go and find this guy. We basically know he's on this moon. Find him and deal with him. but then complicate it by putting a bunch of other humans around them. The law is clear here, right? This is definitely a synth. We're not going to try to pretend. This isn't going to be like, ooh, did we accidentally like get this guy? Yeah. And I don't want to get too complicated with it because I want this to be straightforward because we start off, I want them to be like, yeah, job well done. Right? Like we did it. We got him. We got the bad robot. And then later we will build up to the like, oh God, did we retire a human by mistake? Or like, oh no, maybe we shouldn't retire synths at all. Maybe they have like we'll build up to this stuff. At this point, we don't need the Voight-Kampff test because we have pictures, right? We have photographic data. This is clear. This is like, yes, you are definitely a synth because we have records of your creation. We have pictures of you. All they're going to need to do is hold up a photograph, right? You hold up a hologram and be like, yep, blam, done, click, no problem. I don't want to complicate this with like facial reconstruction or any of that shit. I just want them to be like, yes, you are a synth, good, dead. Obviously, he'll be like, no, I'm not a synth. Like they'll be pleading for his life. That will go, I know how this situation is going to go. They're going to catch him. He's going to be like, I'm not a synth. They're going to be like, yes, you are. And he's going to be like, but don't synths have souls too? And they're going to be like, no, you don't. And then he's going to be like, fuck you, I'm going to kill you with a wrench. And that'll be it. And then they'll kill him. Like it'll be like lying, like denial, bargaining. What's the stages of grief, right? Like the conversation with him are going to go denial, anger, bargaining, depression, wrench. That's just how it is. So yeah, later all of that stuff will occur, but they'll probably kill him before we get to wrench. So that'll be a thing. So we'll get there. Anger is like, no, you don't have the right? The conversation is going to go, I'm not a synth. Who gives you the right to kill people? Please, I can help you. I know other synths. I can turn them in. And then wrench, depression and wrench will be the last stage, right? Fighting for your life. And then, yeah, maybe if they don't kill him immediately, maybe if it's not a headshot, it'll be like, fine, you made me and now you unmake me. I hope you're proud of yourselves. Spit, die, right? Acceptance of death. Okay. All right. So let's figure out someone who knows that they're a synth and wants to snitch. So this is like, we need a name for this person. And this is another, who would this person be? I think this is probably, let's narrow it down a little. I don't need names yet. So this is like a coworker, obviously, who thinks that they can get up in the world by being a fucking rat, right? This is the snitch. I hate this person already. But also they're just doing what's right. See something, say something, right? Someone who has bought in to the propaganda and wants the reward they deserve for rooting out the bad guy. This is actually like a person who's doing the right thing, technically. Okay. So this is a person, a coworker. All right. Someone who knows they're a synth and wants to protect them. This is going to be the foreman. Foreman of the mycoprotein farm, right? This is the farm owner. This is someone who's a little bit further up in the hierarchy. Who just knows Dex as a good person and a hard worker who did something nice for them. Right? Who also knows that they're a synth, but doesn't care because they're kind and honestly just make the farm work better, right? Because this synth, right? Illegal synthetic 665A-22X is very fucking expensive. There is no way in a million years this foreman would ever be able to afford illegal synthetic 665A-22X. This person, Dex, is a boon to the farm. The farm works so much better. So much better because Dex is here. So yes, this is like personal. Like, listen, this is Dex. I care about Dex. Dex is a person, but also I care about myself. I'm making money. This is working out good for me. I'm rising in the ranks. The noble likes me better because my farm is doing so good, etc. Right? Yeah. So this is also like envy, jealousy, a sense of right and wrong, personal gain at stake. This person is motivated by personal feelings, misgivings about what makes someone a human. Also, personal reasons, money, status, etc. Good for the farm, right? No, so the snitch won't snitch out the foreman, because if the foreman goes, then probably the farm suffers, which means the snitch would lose their job. But if the snitch snitches out on the synth, they might be able to fill up their, so it's a whole shuffling, again, the hierarchy, right? It's a shuffling of the hierarchy. I want your job. So that's kind of what's going on. So for me, all I need to know is the motivation, right? I need to understand why all of these things are happening, and then the players would just get all tangled up in this. Okay, so someone who is sure that they're human. So a person who doesn't work on the farm, but maybe cohabitates with, what's 66522X? 665A22X. And is in love with them, in love with it, like a person. Doesn't know it's a synth, thinks it's just a nice guy who loves them. I don't want it to be too complicated, right? Like, I don't want it to be like, let's tie it all in together. Like, oh, it's the noble's daughter or whatever. Like, that's just it's too much. I think this is just a person who works. So what's another job you could have that wasn't farm worker and isn't like base laborer? I want this person to be more important or better skilled. I want this. Did Twitch just make a noise at you? I'm sorry, everybody. That's a thing that happens sometimes. I didn't hear it. It's just, yeah, this could be an Acre employee. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's make them a Acre. They work for Acre. A low level Acre facility manager. Someone who runs like a shipping, not shipping. Oh no, that's good. Someone who runs a distro angle, or like who participates in distribution. Because might be an escape vector for the synth, right? Someone who could like smuggle you off world. Oh yeah. So this person isn't that important or significant, but like might be able to like sneak you off planet. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. And then the noble who owns the farm in question, what house does this noble belong to? I think Eridanus is the obvious one, but Eridanus might notice the uptick in like sudden, like, wait, this one microprotein farm, I want the noble to be helpful, and then realize, oh shit, okay, yeah, Eridanus makes sense. Okay. So house Eridanus, and I think they're like very, very low tier. Kind of owns several businesses in this quadrant of the planet, including the farm in question. Some kind of, yeah, baron something. Let me look at, hold on, let me pop the wiki again. So the reason that I don't show you the wiki is because I don't want to show, the wiki is just like, it's fucking awesome. You should definitely check it out, but it's also covered in ads, and I don't want to put more ads on my channel that I'm not getting paid for. So House Eridanus, they have titles. that I can use in the wiki? Okay, they don't have any yet. We're going to call this person a baron. Oh, House Eridanus governance. Here's the titles. Taxarch, Transactos, non-subject Eridani titles. Okay. Planetary governors. Scrutineers. Viscount. Counts serve as the noble face and voters among the house and create connections. So maybe a count or viscount. Yeah. Support roles. Okay, they're a viscount. That sounds good. Because he's not as important as the planetary governor. But yeah, okay, viscount is good. Okay. Okay. Viscount. A viscount. Someone semi-effective, but also not... I like they're semi-effective, but not semi-effective. Not bumbling, but narrow focus. Smart, but not street smart. Willing to help, able to help, cooperative, etc. Respectful, right? Not a sniveling noble. However, however, a noble who knows the above mentioned noble knowingly, I'm going to put some quotes around here, knows it happens to be true, but they don't know for sure. So this is someone who's like, wants to get rid of this person so they can take over. So this is House. It would be complicated if they were House Crux. I'm going to make them Crux. Yeah, they're a House Crux noble because they're technically more important. They probably owns more stuff on Mumeri than the Eridanus noble and wants to absorb their farms into their own biz. They have noticed the profit margins increase and want to get rid of the other noble as fast as possible so as to get their stuff and make bank. Right? They're like, oh, interesting. Your farms are getting good. I wonder why. Oh, they must absolutely be. It must be because you employ synths. So if I can get rid of you, then I could buy your stuff for cheap and I can see that it's getting good. Excellent. Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that. So yeah, I make bank. They're just like the Eridanus noble in that they just want to help and are doing what's right and also have an advantage in that they know the PCs are coming. So this person is the welcoming committee. Yield is a more farmy word. Yeah, it's true. So yield. Notice the yield increase. The farm's getting better, especially that mycoprotein farm. Okay. All right, great. So it's basically these two nobles, butting heads, sort of. I don't think the House Eridanus noble really knows that the Crux noble is like looking to buy up their stuff. The House Crux noble is the one that shows up and offers to host them. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's cool. All right. So let's name some of these people. So this illegal synthetic, this is the crime. This is the person who is the crime in question. Okay, so this is a coworker who knows that they want to. This is the snitch. Let's see. Thankfully, the game has a table for this shit. So let's name this person. Let's see here. GM assets. Where are they? Here we go. Game Master resources. Name generators. Okay, so I'm going to give this person a... I'll give them a Russian surname, Ortov, and a first name, Spanish. Let's make him Santiago Ortov. Okay. All right, a worker at Santiago Ortov. Okay. Cool. Got it. And then the foreman. Let's make her... Where's my... Oh, God. Drink. We did it. That's the very first one. If you're playing the Swan Song faction turn drinking game, I rotated all the way through my tabs, and I missed the thing I was trying to do. So go ahead and take a drink, everybody. Okay. Let's see. Let's give her a... Let's give her an Indian first name. Sarika. I like Sarika. Let's call her Sarika, and we'll give her a Japanese last name because these are close together, and that's fun. Sarika Saito. That sounds good. Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. Okay. Saito Sarika. All right. And then let's go with someone who is sure they're human. Okay, so this is Dex's... I think this works. This works best if... I think I'm going to make this one a lady, too. So let's make her... Let's see here. Let's give her a Spanish last name. Quesada. And we'll give her a... Let's give her a Nigerian first name. Nkoyo. Nkoyo. What did I say? Quesada. Nkoyo Quesada. Okay. Nkoyo Quesada. Okay. Yeah, the naming structure, the like house name, last name, first name thing is imperial standard. Culture dictates the rest of your name. So I imagine Saito Sarika's dad was Japanese, and her mom was Indian. So they probably, the Saito family probably all go Saito first. Okay, Nkoyo Quesada is Dex's girlfriend, and then the noble who owns the farm in question is Viscount Eridanus. I need a good name for this person. He is Viscount Eridanus. Maybe something kind of like Latin sounding. Oh, I did it again. Drink up. Let's give this person like an English first name. And then like a Greek last name maybe. Spiros? Theodoro. That's a good one. So Theodoro Douglas. I like it. Theodoro Douglas. Eridanus Theodoro Douglas. Douglas Theodoro. Viscount Douglas Theodoro. Cool. All right. So he's a Viscount. smart, book smart, knows some things, but and then this is Crux. Now I'm gonna have to hang on. I'm gonna have to like look at all the Crux. Crux has titles, so let me see if Crux has a good title for me. So House Crux. Let's see here. Lawyers, executioners, judges. Doesn't look like they have. It doesn't look like they have their own. It doesn't look like they have their own like sub. These are all like high level like inquisitors and cathars and stuff. Yeah. Let me take a look through. This is all judiciary and police. Oh, here we go. Duke. Yeah, Herzog. Yeah, Graf, Margrave. Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, we'll use one of those. So Freiherr or Baron. Both are allowed. Yeah. Unlanded noble. No, this person owns land for sure. Yeah, they're a little higher up than a Junker. They're bigger. They're a bigger noble than this other one. They're the big fish that wants to eat up the smaller one. Okay, so let me jump back to my list here. It was Freiherr, I believe. Baron, and then they can have any kind of name they want. So Crux, Freiherr, and we'll give them. Let's see. Let's go with a Latin first name. And a Chinese surname. Chinese surnames are first, right? Song, and then... Yeah, maybe, okay, so his name would be Song. And then let's call him Marcus. Okay. Yeah, all of the basic names, in the universe are like mishmash on purpose. Yeah, more like Song. Yeah, Song Marcus. And yeah, okay. Baron Song, aka Marcus. And yeah, here we go. Pronounced more like Son as in Vaughn. Yeah, Son Marcus. Okay, cool. And then yes, technically it's Freiherr, Crux, Son Marcus. Okay, great. Got it. Okay, so there's those nerds. We've got that set up. And then we have where. So let me just hit up a couple of different like. Let's come up with a couple of different like locations. So like the market, where the illegal synthetic was last spotted. We want the home that the asset and its girlfriend share. The mycoprotein farm. The farmer's barracks. The workers' barracks, I guess. The estate of the Viscount. The estate of the Freiherr. I guess we would like come up with a city too. Let's just call it like something boring like cornucopia. So like the streets and miscellany of cornucopia, which is like the capital. It's the only city basically where the distro center is. The distro center. Look at all these cool places we could go and have gunfights and the guy could run away from, etc., etc. Okay. I think that's all the stuff that's been implied. Probably like also like a Prism Media location if they wanted to go there, because this is a Prism influenced, and then like an Acre factory. Okay. I think that's cool. Yeah. And then obviously like, yeah, like a church or whatever, but we don't really media hub. Yeah. Thank you. That's what they're called. And then everything else, the miscellany of Cornucopia covers whatever else the players will need. So these are all like locations where they can go. I want this not to be so much a mystery. Like the mysteries at the beginning, like, hey, we saw him at the market. Let's go there first. And that will lead directly to the farm, right? Like I want it to be really like obvious. It's not a, this isn't a mystery. This isn't a, where's the synth? It's let's go find the synth and kill him. So that's a thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's all I really need to worry about. Obviously the players can introduce more stuff by asking, like, what is the next thing? Okay. So I want to include also, I think that's all I need, really. Like this will easily cover a full episode. They go looking for the synth. They do the thing. They kill him. Job well done. Okay, great. I guess for dramatis personae, I should also figure out other members of the crew. See, that time wasn't a drink because it was one tab behind. I had to control tab all the way around. Okay, so members of the crew of the I'm not telling you the name of the ship because it's a surprise. Okay. So you can control shift tab to go backwards. Okay. Remember I was joking on Twitter the other day that the HCS, oh, and that's the ship. So all the noble ships by default are house name ship. So like all of the ships in the Crux fleet are the HCS. You might be the HLS, the HPS, etc. But you might have your own. The ships might have their own things. So also though, I mentioned that I definitely want to find an opportunity to use the like HPS steamed hams, but it's the name of a ship. Like that kind of like weird, yeah, absolutely becoming a thing. The Prism, Acre, like all those, you can name your own. You can name your own ships however you want. The HFS don't at me. Yep, it's a stealth ship. Okay, all right. So members of the crew. So we have like the captain, and then we have the XO, second officer. We have a Valen navigator. We have a chief engineer. Who else would be on here? No, the ship is not called the Far Verona. Nope. Far Verona is a thing that I will reveal through play. Right. Yeah. Tactical TAC ops, right? Tactical operations officer. Medical officer, chief medical officer. Ooh, I spelled that word. Chief medical officer. Who else do we need? Ooh, chaplain. That's right. Ship's chaplain. Oh, that's right. And then the owner's representative / like tax guy, right? The person who's responsible for that shit. Obviously, like the pilot is a person, right? So like ship's pilot, and this is Mark's character. I don't think they have a science officer. It's not a science ship. Oh, there would be like a Justicar or whatever, right? Let me do the thing again. Let me take a look at. House Crux, what do you got? The person responsible here would be Richter. Yeah, the ship's Richter, right? Every world has a Richter, as do most starships. Yeah. So this is the Richter of the ship. Richter something or other. And then I feel like, yeah, the players will probably fit into some of these things, but yeah, I think that's probably fine. We'll work it out later. And then like additional crew members. Because I don't want to figure out the entire ship in case we have a person that comes on and they want to like, I would be like, you can play any one of these people, or you could like make up your own person and fit into the ship. So that's a thing. Okay. All right. So that's kind of all I really needed to worry about right now. Yeah. Miscellaneous red shirts, etc. There would be a Lyran on the ship who'd be responsible for like performing ship's morale, right? And also funerals. They would probably have like a cultural officer, but we'll leave it alone for now. We'll let them we'll fill that in. So I think the like away team for this mission probably includes the PCs and then like some additional shit, right? Some red shirts. They don't really need anyone else to go down onto the planet with them. Because this is like a factory world, basically, like a factory and farm world. So that would be why Bronze Girl's character is there. Serpin's, or Anne's character and Max's character always work together. They have to. And then Mark's character pilots the shuttle up and down from the ship. Yeah. The pilot is on the away team because he pilots the shuttle. Yeah. They need to move it around. He's their chauffeur, right? So there's no teleporting, and the ship is way too big to land on the planet. So, yeah. And then like red shirts. Support Crux team red shirts. Probably a mix, like two Aquilons and a Crux or something, like lieutenants. No, not even lieutenants, like a sergeant and 2 privates. Yeah, just to like go along. Yeah, there would be an auxiliary. Like, I don't think Mark's character is not the pilot of the ship necessarily. Like, there's already a ship pilot. The ship's not well, it's a Corvette, right? And it doesn't have the atmospheric configuration. Why would they waste it on that? Yeah. And it's also a moon. So, yeah. Okay. All right. So additional crew members, whatever. No big deal. Okay. So I don't really need to worry about them until I do. And then I can just roll on the table. Yeah. Corvette's a type of frigate, but they don't have that. That's not happening. Okay. Cool. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready for the first session. Yeah. All right. So we talked a little bit about dramatis personae. I've started to fill out some questions for that. Future episodes and what comes after. Like we talked a little bit about the why earlier on, right? Establishing the hierarchy, kind of like figuring all that stuff out. All this is for the future. I'm going to just keep coming back to this stuff. And we talked about the tools. So I think we are square. I think we're ready. I can wing anything else that I need. We should be fine.